And we've commissioned a significant piece of research to look at what that might look like, how it might operate, where it might apply. And the consultants, who are Jeanette Siddall, John Silverman, and Rachel Gibson, all standing now, looking like they're about to do, I don't know what they're about to do, they're very regulated, have actually been working on it for about 4 months, 3 or 4 months, and are here today to give us all an update on where they're at with the process. So, can I just hand over to the three of you?
Thank you, Graham, and good afternoon, everyone. When I saw the keynote speakers listed for today, I was slightly concerned that we'd be something regarding Lord Mayors and shows. And I think the diverse range of topics, I wasn't expecting to have popping, crumping, Dame Nanette de Valois and the financial crisis all in one session, but that shows the diversity of dance. Well, thank you. It's delightful to be here this afternoon. We're here to primarily update you on the research we've undertaken. And I want to sort of say at the outset, something we've been quite keen in terms of the research we've done so far, is we are not here to sell you anything. We are here to engage with you. We want you to contribute to the design of the framework. And the session this afternoon, as with this morning, will help us to understand what you think is needed. So what we'll do today is we'll have a very short presentation you'll be relieved to hear, which outlines our findings. But as I say, the main point is just to ensure that the research comes off of the desk and into the real world through discussions this afternoon. As you can see, we are a coalition of consultants. I was going to use the word team, but coalition seemed more relevant, who've been employed by DTAP to undertake the research. I think the broadness of the sector was probably why a coalition was needed, in the fact that we represent various parts in terms of our careers, directors of dance at ACE, myself as CEO of a dance examination body. And I think that has been useful in terms of giving us a broad insight into the subject matter. I'm now going to look over to Rachel and ask her to tap. Yes, thank you. I was not paying attention, as often the case. This will make it a lot quicker if we carry on like this. Thank you. Something which has been mentioned a couple of times today is this reference to language and terminology and regulatory. To me, always gives me the shivers because of my background anyway. But what we wanted to get across is that in trying to find a suitable mechanism for teaching of dance outside the formal education sector was our brief. So where do we start? Well, we know there are some things which we're duty-bound to relate to, those that are regulated by law and statutory. So, of course, you'll all be aware of the CRB checks, which everybody undertakes nowadays, and the National Qualification Framework morphing into the Qualifications and Credit Framework. Those are good because they're set in stone, they're black and white. So we can quickly then move on to talking about how can we make the framework work in such a way that we are aiming to promote and maintain the high quality of dance teaching in this country and beyond, I suspect, in light of the European issues that were touched on this morning. Rachel will come on to this later, but I think we also need to be careful in terms of the terminology when we're talking about NOS and codes of practice and the ethos of a code, and we've tried to tease that out in the research to, what do these things mean to different people. So I'm suspecting that will come up again later in our breakout groups. So quite simply, why are we doing this? It's been touched upon this morning. There is a need to recognise that practitioners, teachers, call them what you will, have long fed back anecdotally that they want some form of professional recognition. They want to be recognised for what they do well, and clearly they want to be able to improve and develop. And I think from the outside looking in, a big issue is that the general public, I suspect, if they don't already, will increasingly want to be able to recognise good practice and have some assurance of the quality of the teaching they may be introducing to the child or indeed to themselves. And of course, for the practitioners and the employers out there, how do you quality assure? How do you rate someone? Feedback suggests that many employers when looking for a teacher, don't know where to start, and often contact many of the DTAP partners asking for that advice. So I think that's another reason why we need to address this issue sooner rather than later. Finally, what? If you want to check out the postcode, you can do later. The teaching of dance, how diverse can we be? We have so many genres and styles, and that was mentioned just now. So many contexts and age groups, and so many levels of engagement. We are a very broad sector. Sometimes that is a disadvantage, but also it's a strength as well. And it's important that in this research we make sure that we haven't missed any context for the teaching of dance. So I hope this afternoon we can cover those areas and tease out areas we may have missed. And the other thing is communicating those messages back out again. Lots of these issues I think, become problematic, not just because of the language, but because of the fear of regulation and the idea that we're imposing something. Frameworks generally seem to work where they include the sector from which they are born rather than imposing. I'm now going to hand over to Jeanette.